Ryan, we haven't talked to you a bunch, but so give us your thoughts about your season so far. Maybe not as many booming punts, but we've seen some good placement. How do you assess your own performance to this point?
Yeah, I mean, by my own expectations, definitely not good enough. I feel like there's a lot of opportunities there. I could have helped the team out more than I did. So, I mean, up till now, a little bit of a sour taste in the mouth, but we can only look forward. Obviously, learn from our mistakes, learn from kind of maybe the deficiencies that we've had so far. And then myself personally, I think I'm my own worst critic. I mean, there's a lot of times where, shoot, maybe it was okay by other people's standards, but strive to be the best, and up to this point in the season, just haven't got there yet. So hungry and excited for opportunities to come in the next few weeks, and just ready to go for that.
I feel like that's probably an accurate description of Jake and Justin and basically all the specialists.
Oh, yeah.
I feel similar to what you're saying. What's that like to be part of a group? Because you guys do have very high expectations for yourselves.
Yeah, I mean, as a group, there's nobody else that I'd rather be going through this with. I mean, we're brothers to the end. We're spending every day with each other, like constantly trying to just give feedback, honestly. And so I think specialists as a whole, we definitely could be doing better than we are, and like we all know that. It's not like we're singling anybody out, because honestly we've all underperformed. I mean, I guess related to our potential. So it's not like we're down or anything. We're not just sitting there like, oh, boo-hoo, poor us. It's like, shoot, like let's get after it this week. Every week we're making concentrated efforts. Like, okay, how are we going to get better? What are we going to improve? So obviously it's disappointing when it doesn't always translate to the field, but we're ready to get after it as best we can, however we can.
Danny and then Jake.
Hey Ryan, the last 2 weeks when adversity has struck, you guys haven't really handled it well after, basically being right there with Arkansas and then leading you 14-3. What can be done to make this team tougher mentally to handle adversity?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think honestly, it kind of comes down to like looking in the mirror and saying, okay, like am I going to allow this to happen? Are we going to choose to crumble, or are we going to choose to rise up to the occasion? And I think it's tough. Obviously, nobody chooses like, hey, like we're just going to give up. That is not going through anybody's mind on this team right now. That is not the case whatsoever. And so I think it's just a lot of frustration. It's like, okay, we're not choosing this, but still the outcome has been the same the past 2 weeks. And so I think this week a lot of it is going to come down to, okay, we're not choosing to give up, but what are we going to do about what are the actions that are going to back that up? We've made the choice. Now what are we going to go and do to improve ourselves, to be able to rise up to that adversity when it hits? Because I think we haven't had a lot of adversity in many moments as long as I've been here. And so I think this is the first real test where it's like, okay, we either got to put up or shut up. Like, let's go. Let's get after this thing, and we just got to do better, plain and simple.
Ryan, how important is it for you and the rest of the team to find or have something positive happen, whether that's a win this week, et cetera, find something you guys can kind of rally around to give yourself some confidence moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're always looking to take the positives from everything. And unfortunately, the last 2 weeks, there's been less positives to draw upon. And so I think, we're on a three game skid. So obviously, we look at the next week like, hey, we got to do it, like make or break. Let's go after it. I think we just have to approach every single week now. You always say it like, oh, next game's the most important. It's like, no, these next couple games coming up, each one we have to take serious. Each one we have to make sure we're just on our toes. We're ready for everything. And so I think we have a very positive group. We have a very positive coaching staff. And so it's hard because it's like, sometimes there aren't a lot of positives. So I think just finding things that we can build on, and I do think there are things that we can build on. But now, like I said before, what are the actions that are going to back that up? What are we going to really do each and every day to build upon the positives that we've found in the past 2 weeks?
Mitch, go ahead.
Ryan, who are some of the in the among the team as far as players go? Just maybe some of the tone setters of guys that when adversity does hit, and I know that you personally haven't seen much adversity in your time in the program the past 2 years, but the guys when going gets tough kind of set the tone in the locker room to lead the team out of these tough times.
Yeah, I think we do have great leaders on this team. Some are more vocal than others. I believe, I mean, you look at the locker room after last game, and Kalani had his speech and kind of just addressing the nature of the game, and then kind of turned the time over to Puka Nakua. And honestly, that was what the team needed to hear. Puka hit everything on the nose of, I mean, what are we going to do about this? What do we represent? Who are we? So I'd say Puka Nakua is definitely one of those leaders who is able to recognize the adversity and say, hey, let's get after it. I think on defense, just going off of last game, I know at halftime, Zozo and Tyler Batty, they were trying to get everybody hyped up and ready to go. And so, I mean, you have people doing as much as they can, and then after that, it's up to the individual. It's up to the individual to take that and say, hey, we got this confidence. We got to go after it. And whether or not they'll be able to rise up to that. But those are just a few that I can kind of remember more from the last game. But I think within each position group, you have the guys that everyone looks up to and says, okay, where are we going from here?
Thanks for that. I wanted to ask just another question real quick to you. How would you assess how you've played thus far this season? I know you've got more work, almost as many punts as you did 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So a little bit of work this year. How would you feel like your personal growth and development so far? How would you assess how you played?
Yeah, this year, I kind of said it earlier, just not good enough. Not satisfied by any means. There's been some good, there's been some bad, and again, I know it's frustrating when you know your potential and you don't quite execute as well as you would like. But again, that's what practice every day as far as, okay, let's go back and look at it. I feel like there's been opportunities when I could have helped the team more than I have, and so that eats me up inside, and that gets me up in the morning and say, hey, let's get after it. What are we going to do to improve that and let it not happen again?
Awesome. Thanks so much, Ryan.
Thank you.